Good morning. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, taking a look at the action for Saturday, November 21st. Seth, Merrow in the studio, joined via Zoom by Brian Netto. Brian, good morning.
Yeah, it's always good to hear from you. Good morning. I hope things are well back in what I'm hearing, the chilly upstate New York.
Yeah, it's that time of year, unfortunately. It's also, with the whole COVID situation kind of heating up. We'll see how things work out across the country, but racing goes on. And so that's something that I've been saying right along, provides a nice distraction. Hopefully we'll give out some ideas today. You're going to take a look at, I'm going to take at Aqueduct. We're past the Breeders' Cup, but there's still racing, Cigar Mile Day down at Aqueduct and Thanksgiving weekend. Del Mar Turf has a big weekend out there as well coming up. So a little lull this weekend, I would say, stakes-wise. Nice day up at Woodbine, I will say that. I think the Ontario Derby is kind of fun. We'll see if Mighty Heart can bounce back to the performance. And Pink Lloyd runs up at Woodbine on Saturday afternoon as well. So there's some fun stakes, but a little bit of a lull. But as I say, there are some big races on the horizon.
Yeah, it's like you said, that Thanksgiving weekend doesn't necessarily do it as like they used to, but the big races at Churchill, Del Mar, Aqueduct, Fairgrounds gets going. Gulfstream Championship meet is right around the corner too. So it's funny in racing. You get past the Breeders' Cup. It was just a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden it's kind of morphing into 2021, which I'm sure everybody is eagerly awaiting. And the 2-year-olds turn 3, and then all of a sudden the Derby is upon us. And it's weird too. I watched the Masters last weekend, and of course the Derby was on Labor Day weekend while we were up in Sarasota. And the turnaround's a lot quicker. They're going to be back at Augusta National in mid-April, and they're going to be back at Churchill Downs on the first Saturday in May. And obviously it's a lot quicker this year, so it's kind of exciting. Folks, to a 21.
Yeah, we're looking forward certainly to getting back to things being as normal as they can possibly be. All right, I'm going to take a look at Aqueduct a little bit later on. You're going to kick off with Churchill for Saturday noon. Let's get it started. Saturday's opener at Churchill, $50,000 claimers going 3/4 of a mile.
5-1 over the 3, Seth. Henry's Deal, lightly raced for Robertino Diodoro. Looked good winning at Lone Star on debut, albeit in the slop. But, Diodoro's not a guy that wins first out, or, maiden special weights aren't really his cup of tea. So I thought Henry's Deal ran really, really well. And on debut, he butter up to Saratoga in the 1X. That was a pretty salty group that Chad won with secondary market. It didn't work out. I'm not ready to write her off after just 2 starts and a really, really tough one last time. She gets some major class relief, and she's got to beat one horse here, and it's Misty Blue, who's down inside, who isn't exactly a machine, who got beaten up last time, albeit on the turf, and she draws the rail, and she's 4-5 on the morning line. And Henry's Deal's got a ton of upside off just 2 starts, catches a favorite who's drawn poorly and comes in off a no-show. And, I know Misty Blue on figures is the horse to beat, but boy, she hasn't really done any running in her last 3 starts. So I put her in second, try to beat her on top and pick up the phone. The other Diodoro, and I know Cohen's here, so, maybe this is the one that's better than Henry's Deal. But again, upside and price and pick up the phone was just essentially eased last time after a little bit of a trip. But I'm going to play this 5-1 over the 3 to kick off the early pick 5 at Churchill Downs on Saturday.
Moving to the early pick 4 in race number 2, maiden 50 claimers going 8.5 furlongs.
It's just 6-3, Seth. I mean, Spiteful Charge honestly would be a big overlay if you see this 2-1 morning line. I think she'll probably be somewhere in the 6 to 7 to 5 range. If she runs back to her last race, which was a 67 buyer, she'll bury this field because there's just not a lot in here. I've got Treaty of Paris in second, but boy, she's very slow on figures, has very little margin for error over the rest of these, and just beat a turf horse in Kanaloa last time by less than Beat her by a length, excuse me. So again, I don't trust her at all, and it just kind of adds to the fact that I think Spiteful Charge is going to be really tough to beat. She would be a single to me in the early pick 5 and to kick off the early pick 4 because her last 2 dirt races are just better than what is a very, very weak group. 6-3 straight to the hoop in the early pick 4 opener in race 2.
Race number 3 at Churchill on Saturday afternoon. Optional claimer, non-winners of 3 condition, a mile and a 16th the trip.
Yeah, I didn't want to pick Chocolate Kisses, Seth, and I looked around, and boy, I think she's better than these. She off her feet last time when they flew for a half mile. She'll be closer today, so that doesn't worry me that she'll be left with too much to do. There's not a lot of speed in this race at all anyway. His Glory down inside looks like the front runner, so Chocolate Kisses and Gathleon will be close. And I just think she's too much horse for a very, very weak group. For a race like this, an optional 3X, sometimes you can get fringe stakes kind of horses and things like that. This is just a very weak group of allowance horses. I've got High Reward in second. I thought her last 2 races have been pretty decent with good figures for this group. So maybe, again, the old one-punch exacta. But Chocolate Kisses is going to be really tough to beat in here. Probably she wouldn't be my play of the day. That's later because I'm not giving out an even money. But when I look at her and I go back to race 2 the opener and I look at Misty Blue, Chocolate Kisses to me much more trustworthy as a single. 5 over the 1A in race 3.
We move on to race number 4, which is a plain vanilla $50,000 claimer. They'll travel 7 furlongs.
It's a tough race. 8-4 over the 6 in the 1 entry. And TFV Red Nova, say that real quick, really woke up in her second start, in his second start at Indiana last time. And I know it was on a good track, and I know that he added Lasix that day, and that comes off in Kentucky. I think maybe he regresses a little bit, but a lot of these horses to his inside have speed. He's tactical. He can stalk, and I think the race flow really suits him. And he's probably going to be 5 or 6, I think, too. So I'm willing to reward, even with the Lasix coming off, that CFV Red Nova is going to be in a good spot off the far turn. Just 2 career starts, and I think the race flow helped him too. I'll put him on top. Hoist the main sail off the win. And last time for Kenny McPeak, steps up and faces winners, cuts back to 1 turn, but he should have a lot of foundation off that 2-turn local win last time. And I do think he's the beat, but I wouldn't want to take price either. So Hoist the Mainsail underneath in second. I'm the money speed, and he is to be outside the other speed. I think he's in the mix certainly. And then the entry, I don't know who's going to start with Giroux named Temper Tantrum and Richie's Game. One of them will come out, but either the others can make a dent here, at least a little pace. 8-4, 6, 1 entry in the 4th. That middle pick 4 2 on 10 race cards.
All right, race number 5, maiden 40 claimers going 6.5 furlongs.
3, 2, 4, 8 for me, Seth, and Brendan Walsh is only 8% with first-time starters, so Polestar might need a race. I know that. There's a lot of works. None of them are overly great, but there are a lot here. But the reason I like Polestar, there's 2 of them. Gathleon is here, and he's a very good 22% riding for the barn with a big ROI. And the other reason is you look at the runners with experience, and boy, they're not much. And if you're going to tell me that Cane Creek Road, who I've gotten second for our friend Brad Cox, is the horse to beat off that 52 buyer on debut for $150,000 tag, I'm okay taking a first-time starter, Seth. And so we'll land on Polestar at what should be a decent price. Hopefully this horse takes some money. I wouldn't want to see him up there at 13-1. That wouldn't be a good sign, but I think if he's around this morning line at 6-1, which to me is a pretty good morning line, I think he's very playable. Cane Creek Road, listen, he is the horse to beat. And I think 50, you and I have been on the air and talked about this. That for me is almost like a maiden special weight, because there's very few people that can reach in and claim a horse for $150,000. You could probably count on one hand, maybe 2 fingers. So I think it plays out more like a maiden special weight race. And so Cane Creek Road, this is a big class drop, and he dueled on the lead last time. So we know speed against better is always an angle on the drop. Boy, he just didn't really run much, though, at 9-5. So now he's back inside again. I'm going to put him in second. AC Express special weight drop is a special weight dropper, cuts back to one turn as well. He's going to be pressing probably. He's certainly in the mix too. And then Smoothie ran okay on debut for Tom Vance. And I would think moves forward a little bit. 3-2-4-8. I'll take the first or Seth as we halfway point on the Churchill card.
All right, and let's use that to take a break. We'll come back and continue our look in a little bit. We'll shift over to Aqueduct. Please stay tuned. Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467 and win more with Capital OTB.
County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from our vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip down to a hive of culture and amusement, from world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping, nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. This program simply offers you points redeemable for gift cards. Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit capitalotbbet.com and sign up today.
Welcome back to the Handicapper Support. Seth, Merrow, and Brian Nadeau. Brian's taking a look at Churchill Downs on Saturday. In a little bit, I will take a look at Aqueduct, but let's continue. Down in Louisville, race number 6 on Saturday afternoon. Maiden special weight runners going the one-turn mile.
Yeah, and this is the play of the day, Seth, and it's a little bit of a price, too. It's 2-3 over the 4. Pledge of Allegiance, I think, has got some hidden form here. You got to sift through it, but 2 turns last time, it didn't work out. Blinkers on last time, it didn't work out. So I'm going to draw a line through that race. You circle back to the race 2 back at 7 furlongs at Churchill, and this is a one-turn mile, as you said, and that race was a big third and a fast race for the level behind a good-looking winner, and I think Pledge of Allegiance with the blinkers off and the cutback is in a great spot here in a race where there should be some speed. And none of these and geldings are that much. So Allegiance is in a really good spot. If I can get, I will take it as the play of the day. Moliere is in second for Asmussen, and he's a lightly raised. He's a homebred for Stone Street by Curlin, out of a theatrical mare. So you wonder at the end of the day, turf will be his calling. The debut was really, really sharp, and the debut would probably win this. But last time at 7 furlongs, and the debut was at a mile. It's very noteworthy. But it was also at 2 turns at Ellis Park. And now he's at 1 turn last time, and he just didn't really do a lot of running. And he's still 1 turn today. So I think Moliere is probably the horse to beat. But I think this morning line is fair at 3-1 because you look at this field, that kind of about 3-1 in here. So I put him in second. Azar is the wild card for Baker. Hasn't been out in over a year and really didn't do any running in 2 starts for Chad. So you worry about that a little bit. Now he goes to Maker, who's fine, but this is a long layoff with a new barn. I would think Azar probably is going to need this. I put him 2, 3, 4 right in a row. That play of the day, Pledge of Allegiance in a race that looks to me. We
move on to race number 7. It will the late pick 4, 7th race, optional claim or starter allowance, 3/4 mile.
Pace makes the race here, and it's absolutely loaded with speed. And It's Cold in Dehere is one of the few that can salt and make a run. Tough to improve off Tom Amos. We know that, Maggie Moss. But, Bill Morey does a good job. He's 22% on the year. He's only 12% off the claim, but it's only a 17-horse sample. But I just think It's Cold in Dehere. 2 wins in a row in the right race flow for her, to really, really hit hard in here. Put her on top. She was kind of the second play of the day, if there was such a thing. Kiffel's the horse to beat. Kiffel's drawn outside. That bodes well, but Kiffel's speed in a race, like I said, with a ton of it. And I just worry early, holding late. I don't think that's gonna work here. Kiffel in second at an under price. Big similar last time though, so certainly will hit hard. And then a Radiant Rhythm with her in New York, and now she's at Churchill off the claim for Doug Danner. Has done some good things. Aired last time at Monmouth, but that was against much, much lesser. And, only 1 for 7 off the claim for Danner, so it's not a big sample. But this is another horse that can sit the right kind of trip in here, but this is a pretty significant class rise too, so I'll use her underneath. 6-7 over the 4 to kick off that late pick 4 at Churchill.
Fun little race in the 8th. It is maiden special 2-year-old fillies. Nice full field. 6.5 furlongs is what they will travel.
Yeah, it's 6 over the 10-5. And I don't know anything about Marion Francis. She's kin to a couple winners. They didn't really do much, but they're kin to a couple winners. But these Constitutions, as we know, they're running. They paid $150 for it. It's Brad Cox, it's Giroux. Maybe and there's good works here too. A couple bullets are in the holster here. But maybe more importantly, Seth, that you look through the proven runners here, and 3 Tipsy Chicks ran a 59 last time. Wild Combo for Asmussen ran a 56 last time. Debut Foolery for A ran a 57. Whether you like buyers or not, you would agree that those are pretty slow figures. And I'm just going to go out on a limb for Marion France and Madiket. She can run a 59 buyer. So I'm going to put her on top. She's a single. Tab the double Will Pace from race 7 into her to make sure she's live, because I think, Seth, that the money shows she's probably in a pretty darn good spot here. I mentioned Foolery K. I would think she improves. She had a tough trip in the fact that she was stuck behind 47 flat at Keeneland, so it's really tough to make up ground there. I thought she did pretty well to be 3rd. And then Wild Combo, she just doesn't look like much to me for Asmussen and Spendthrift. She's been 2nd on debut, 5th last time, slow figures, tiring late. Looks like the horse you're supposed to try to beat. 6 over the 10-5, last pick 3 at Churchill.
Very good. And we move on to stakes action. Churchill on Saturday afternoon, the Chaluki. It's a grade 3 event. These are fillies and mares 3-year-olds and up, traveling a mile for a purse of $100,000.
Yeah, it's 3-2 over the 4, and the 3-year-olds, Grand Cru Day and Finite, come out of the Raven Run that was won by Venetian Harbor. We know she's one of the better 3-year-old fillies in the country, and these gals ran 3-2 to her respectively, and Finite almost got the win, closing in last time to the pace. But the upside on Grand Cru Class A, and I know if we didn't get the 20-1 last time, it's tough to take about 2-1, 5-2 today. But the upside is there. More importantly, she's going to get first run on Finite, which I think is very, very, it's going to be very key to success today. And she'll be probably a better price too. So I'll put her on top. I just think she looks like she's going places. Finite's the horse to be. I don't have it. You know what? She's never faced older horses, and now she's facing older stakes horses. She could be a little pace dependent as well. She could regress off that big run last time in big figure. So 2 for 2 at Churchill, and I understand that. A short price is, I'm going to try to beat her. At least I'll put her in second. The old back. Then Whoa Nelly is yes, she's the wild card because she hasn't been out since the Bayakoa for Larry Jones back in February, and she lost to Go Google herself. It was a nice stakes horse. She was well clear, a couple big numbers. She won the Pippin at Oaklawn prior to that, so she's just getting going. I don't. She's been working up a storm. I don't know what the issue was, but I'm certainly quite sure they didn't want to stop on her after that big Bayakoa run. So maybe she needs it. Maybe she's waiting for Oakland late January, early February. I'll use her underneath 3-2 over the 4 in a good renewal of the Chalupi set.
Race number 10 wraps up the card on Saturday afternoon at Churchill. B condition $10,000 claimers going 1 1/16.
Yeah, I'll use them all here. 6, 8, 11, 7, 4. Uncle Gregory's a price. If you tossed the sloppy run last time at Churchill, which was at 1 turn, he's got some solid form and pretty solid numbers. This group, and almost sticks around last time, hoping for a fast main track, and Uncle Gregory at what should be a decent price. Let's put him on top. Go outside a little bit. Blanket of Roses will be closing late at this 2-turn trip. Drops in class 2 off the end races, but is certainly bred for the main track. Way outside to Smirk. Probably the horse to beat on the class drop, but figures to be wide every step of the way. Marshall Eagles for a piece. New Eagle for a piece as well. It is a tough finale, Seth, and I went for the price with Uncle Gregory in a race that's probably the deepest spread on the card, and that's not going to make it easy to end all those horizontal exotics at Churchill.
Sounds good. All right, we will take another break. When we come back, we'll take a look at Aqueduct for Saturday. Stay tuned.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
What if there was a way to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. Here comes High Chaparral. Sending Ted to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Brian and Seth with you on a Saturday morning. Just got through 10 at Churchill Downs. We're going to get through 10 at Aqueduct as well. And 11:50 first post, Seth. As we know, they like to mix things up a little bit at Naira, but 11:50 for the first post. Kick off the early pick 5 to maiden special weight New York breds. Philly winners 3 and up 6.
According to the morning line, and the morning line is probably right. Snick likely the one to beat, but I went with Munnings Muse. I went 5-3-4-2. I just thought Munnings Muse may be the speed and may just speed pop them and take them all the way around. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. There are a couple others in here that potential to challenge, but I think Munnings Muse may be able to open up a little bit and then be tough to catch in the stretch. Snick it right underneath. Again, mostly a turf horse throughout the career, but boy, the dirt race 2-back stacks up nicely with this group. The workouts and the latest bullet workout seem to signal that the main track is not going to be a problem. And Snicket probably is going to be the one to beat. And Beautiful Karen in the 3rd spot. A little bit of early speed. I think Munnings Muse has the better of the speed. Those two, however, and we'll be able to clear a little bit. But off the number fired last time on a March to return from a break, I think this horse maybe also has a little upside potential now. And so Beautiful Karen also a contender for Linda Rice. In the opener for me at Aqueduct, I have it 5-3-4.
All right, Perf in race 2. We hope early pick 4 time, another state bred race. Maiden special weights 2 16 on the inner.
I'm going to pop with the Safi Joseph firster. I don't love the one post position. That's never really one that you're thrilled about for these first-time starters. But I found it intriguing that this horse was working up at Saratoga this summer, then shipped down to Palm Meadows, worked down there, and now comes up to Belmont. I mean, it's logical in that this is a New York bred, and so they're saying let's shoot for the bred money. But it's interesting that up at Saratoga, then Safi did take the horse down to Palm Meadows. But also, you look up the siblings. The dam produced a sibling called General Jack, second in debut, won the second start of the career. A sibling called Kundre, 10th in the debut, but then second, third, first. So I think there's some early potential breeding for this one. Safi Joseph can have them ready. And again, I found the whole workout situation a little bit interesting. At 10-1 on the morning line, we'll put Action Jackson on top. Vodka Lemonade, second time out for Mike Maker and Mike Rapoli by Candy. Had worked 10.2-year-old sale this year and almost lived up to all of that in the debut. Showed some early speed before just getting caught late. I think should benefit from that education. And then Dancing with the Stars in the third spot. Nice improvement start 1 to start 2 and an angle I always like quite a bit. Starts at sprints and then stretching out to 2 turns. That can prove fruitful sometimes as well. So you're getting 8-1 there. Christophe Clement has the first to draw into gold. He's good with firsters. I think that one could be a player also with Joel Rosario on board. Race number 2 at Aqueduct. I have it 1, 6, 10, and
I don't know if you have the stats. The dam of your pick, J. Ray, she might have made about a million odd way back in the day. I think she's pretty old, but yeah.
I looked up the offspring, and I was thinking she was fairly, but she had like 6 foals already. So you're right. It was a while ago, but you're absolutely right. She was very good.
Yeah, she won a lot of stakes races for I think Todd and Larry Goichman, who had several winners at Saratoga this summer. On to the third. It's a 3-year-olds and up, 6 furlongs on the main track.
2, 1, 7, and 9. Summer Bourbon on top goes out for Linda Rice. I'm looking at the race 2 line through the sloppy track race last time. The race 2 back was good enough to get it 10 level as a cozy fit. Class-wise in with this bunch. I think it's a competitive group, but I'll put Summer Bourbon on top slightly. Vickers Legend, the number 1 horse, comes out of a much better recent race than Summer Bourbon, but it was on a sloppy track. The dry track races before that aren't quite as good, but I think the last may signal some good form. And again, indicated also for this horse, this 10 level is kind of the comfort zone. And I almost would have put number 7, Earned Success, on top, but I just was a little put off by the jockey stats. He's not. This is a jockey that hasn't raced too much in 2020 and hasn't won too much in 2020. So kind of unfair. And given that scenario, I was a little leery about using this one. But I think with the early speed, I thought the last race at Monmouth seemed to indicate the class may fit, although the prior races were against a little bit lesser. So as I said, I may have been tempted to put this one on top, but with the jockey station, I shied away just a bit. In the third, 2, 1, 7, and 9.
All right, we get back to the turf. It's an optional claimer, 3 and up, 62.5 is a tag, 2X in a phenomenal race. I'm looking through it now. There's only 7 of them in here, but all 7 of them, that Blameless probably can't win. The other 6 can all win, and they seem to be about a length or 2 within each other on paper too, Seth.
And I have Blameless on top. No, I'm at 30-1. I'm pretty much 5, 3, 7, and 1 is on top for me for Dave Donk. Yeah, getting a nice little 6-1 there. You got Dave Donk and you got Jose Ortiz. Nice effort last time. Really coming off a string of nice efforts.
Dave did this job with this horse. He really great job with this horse, who is kind of a middle cheap claimer at Gulfstream. Gets to Dave and has really improved.
Yeah, he's had him 6 starts and you got 3 wins, a couple seconds, and you're absolutely right. And so in good form, He sticks on board after the nice run behind Ballarock's last time. So we'll see if we get the 6-1, but if we do, I'll be happy with that. On top, Value Engineering in the second slot. This is a horse that clearly will take some action. It's Chad. It's Klarovich. I debated putting this one on top because certainly there's nothing not to like for exacta finishes in 7 career starts and then 3/3. So has never been off the board for Chad and Klarovich, and certainly a solid contender to my top pick and maybe the one to beat. I may regret, as I said, I looked at Value Engineering. You always look at the Chad Klarovich runners in New York, but I put it down in the second slot, and then Mr. Alec down in the third slot. Again, another one of those where the last race, I'm just going to draw a line through. The horse is better. It has proven throughout the rest of the career pretty. So that last race, I think you can say with some level of confidence is an aberration, and this horse will bounce back to a better effort, and a better effort puts Mr. Alec right in the thick of things in here. I thought Conviction Trade, Mike Maker and I Router, another player in this bunch. For me, in the fourth, I have it 5, 3, 7, and 1.
All right, we'll sneak one more in before the break. Empire 6 time, if that's your Cup OT. It's a starter allowance, 50 starter allowance. 3-year-olds and up going 6 on the main track.
10, 3, 7, and 5. I put Advance Notice on top. Mike Maker, I Route Ortiz. Career debut is a good-looking win, albeit against maiden 20 claimers. Then has been in this starter 50 the last couple. 2 back ran 5th, but paired up a buyer number where the horse ran 2nd and a close-up 2nd last time. More importantly, the race where the horse ran 5th, 2 back, was at a mile. Gets back to the sprint distance where the 2 sprint races are maybe indicating that's more where the horse belongs. So nice outside post position may be beneficial. Advance Notice on top. Second slot will go Road to Meath. Showed early speed in the past couple of starts. 2 back, 2 turns going on the turf last time and off the turfer, sprinting, and that was the improved performance. The race 3 back that the horse was claimed out of was even better. I think on a best effort, this horse absolutely belongs in with this company. Money to Ride in the third spot. Nice win last time. Nice win with a nice number that stacks up with this bunch on a move from a mostly summer campaign in Canada up at Woodbine. Came down to Belmont, and as I say, had the nice win, but it was a 35 N3L. So this starter 50 may be a little saltier than that bunch, but boy, if the horse can kind of put a couple of those numbers together, belongs with this bunch and has to be considered as well. In the fifth at Aqueduct, I have a 10, 3, 7, and 5.
All right, that will bring us to our final break on the Handicappers Report. 5 down at Aqueduct. When we come back, the late pick 5 time. Stay tuned.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Brian and Seth with you. We got through 10 at Churchill Downs. Seth is through 5 at Aqueduct. The last 5, late pick 5 time here as well. We're on the inner maiden special weight fillies, 2-year-olds, a mile and a 16.
And I said, you always have Glenn Klarovich. That's exactly where I went in this race. 8-6-4 and 11. Freedom of the Press on top. It's Chad. It's off a career debut up at Saratoga. It was a pretty good looking career debut. 5-1 ran a good second in there. And I think off of that can go forward. I mean, the number fired there compared to the majority in this field who have run just says this horse probably has the edge. Second slot, I'll go with Evie Jets. Tony Dutrow, horse that tossed in a comparable number to the top pick in the career debut, went backwards a little bit in the follow-up. But again, I'll look closer to what we saw in the debut in the third start and the stretch out back to 2 turns this afternoon. In the white, I'll use number 4, White Frost. Interesting, a couple of sprints to start the career. I said earlier, I like this angle. 2 sprints, third start, you stretch out to 2 turns. This one, however, is also doing a dirt to turf move. So I'm not quite sure, but I'll trust Bill Mott. It's probably kind of an experiment. We didn't see what we wanted in the dirt tries, so let's give this one a shot. But I'll put my trust in the connections on the move here and throw White Frost into the mix. Now, in the 6th, I have it 8-6, 4, and 11.
Race 7 off the late pick 4. It's a 30,000 2L. 3-year-olds and up, a mile and a 16th on the outer turf.
I have it 9, 12, 8, and 5. The 12 is a couple of deep on the AE list. If that one doesn't make it in, pull the 6 into the mix. But on top, I will use Traffic Pattern, Chad Brown, and Klarovich. Once again, seems to match up on the numbers pretty well with this edge on many, but it's just a potent team. Irod Ortiz on board, lightly raced, maybe still some upside potential. Takes another half step down the claiming line. I had the one on Thursday. I thought was kind of a shoe-in there. The situation in that a Klarovich runner in the claim, you thought, they're looking for the win, and if somebody takes the horse, that's fine because they have a high-priced horse to move into the. This isn't really the game they play, and I will say that one on Thursday disappointed a little bit, but we'll see with Traffic. And with another half step down the claiming ladder, I think this horse should be tough in here. In the second slot, as noted, I'm a couple of deep on the 8th. The Jim Bond trainee, Reckless Spirit, makes it in. I think you have to watch out off the past 2 or 3 starts. The horse seems to fit very well with this bunch. The will just be, does the horse get in? Do we get the couple of scratches that will allow the horse into the field? B Catcher in the 3rd spot showed up at Kentucky Downs and showed up at an allowance event. So drops in for the first time in the career for a tag. Off of a disappointing effort down at Kentucky Downs. Tried Presque Isle on the synthetic, was pretty good. Obviously, they had some high hopes for this horse. The 5th start of the career, right after the maiden breaker, they tried a stakes race. It just hasn't. And I think today they're being a little bit realistic. Jose Ortiz jumps on board. So I think, again, with the class relief moving into the conditional claimer, maybe B Catcher shows a little more life this afternoon. In the 7th, I'll also mention rooting for the number 1. I didn't put the number 1 in my mix, but our friend Steve Bick, his DT Stables, they have Kid Chocolate. I looked, and I could have made an argument for putting this one down in the bottom of the mix and at a little bit of a price. Certainly going to be rooting for Kid Chocolate and DT, but in the 9, 12, 8, and 5.
Good segue to me, Seth. You put it right on the plate for me because the 8th is a 1X State Breds, 3 and up going 6. And I don't know where but another good friend of ours, Roddy Valente's got the 1 Bustin Timberlake, and we wanted to give him a shout out because I saw it. You probably have more details than I do, but I saw the old turkey giveaway that Roddy does every year. Maybe I think that's absolutely awesome. Maybe you can talk about it just a little bit more because Roddy's several years now where basically you just come and get a turkey. Is that the sense of it or what? It's like just an absolutely awesome thing he does.
Yeah, they have a big refrigerated truck out here, and typically some local supermarkets also package up some other goodies for folks. They just start to line up and starting at 11 a.m. Next Wednesday, November 25th. 25th, they'll start hitting out turkeys, and Roddy and family now for a number of years. And certainly I'm with you. It's a great thing, and certainly here at OTB appreciate the sponsors and have the parking lot as the site for all this action to happen. But I agree with you. I applaud Roddy and family for having the turkey giveaway. It's a great thing. Yeah.
A lot of turkeys, and do the math in your head. That's not cheap. So credit to him and the family. I know that's a pretty cool thing. So anyway, back to it's a 1X, as I mentioned, 3 and up, 6 furlongs, main track, New York Reds.
I have it 7, 5, 8, and 3. The number 7, Saratoga Pal, going out for Chris Engelhardt. A couple of wins in the last 3 starts, bookending a 3rd place finish. So I just think the horse is in good form. Last was against open starter allowance runners, moves back into State Bred Company. I just think good form. It makes sense in here. Gemography in the 2nd spot, 2nd place finish last time. Against very similar off of that race, clearly belongs in the mix for trainer Mark Hennig. And Ricken in the 3rd spot. Didn't show speed last time, but typically that's the game plan. Well, I suppose showed speed, didn't get the lead the way the horse normally does, and that may have led to the poorer finish that the horse was getting. What clearly was a little bit of a challenge early, but with the early speed in here. Maybe gets to clear a little bit and gets an easier trip early, which leads to maybe a dangerous situation late in the 8th race. For me, I have it 7, 5, 8, and 3.
The 9th, the Red Smith, 3-year-olds and up, 3 on the turf, 1 mile and 3 ace, and Sadler's Joy with his 104 buyer and start number 33 as a 7-year-old in a close third in the Graveland Turf Classic, just keeps on keeping on for Tommy Albatrani, huh?
Yeah, scheduled to have Tommy Albatrani on Racing Across America coming up. So certainly fun to talk to him about an old war horse, 7-year-old with over $2.5 million in the bank. And it's got to be fun to have a horse like that in the stable who just really comes out and runs every time. I have him right underneath. I put Red Knight on top. I have it 10, 4, 9, and 5. Red Knight, last time out in the Sycamore, looked pretty good. Has put a couple of good together, in fact, since a January to September layoff. Came back at Kentucky Downs and ran 2nd in the Kentucky Turf Cup behind Arklow, and then the nice win in the Sycamore. And that Sycamore win was, looking at a pace of 51, 116, 2. He still kind of sat not too far back, towards the back a little bit as far as the number of runners, and then made a nice closing kick into that fairly slow pace and got it done. And I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of pace in here this afternoon. So Red Knight on top, Sadler's Joy, the defending champion of this race, won it last year, comes out of a 3rd place finish in the Turf Classic last time. And you just look at the numbers this horse fires, you have to have him in the mix. And again, it's just one of these horses that goes out and gives it their try every time. Showing no wins this year, but he had that unfortunate, DQ up at Saratoga, came under the finish line first in the Bowling Green, got DQ'd out of that one. But we'll see if he can follow up the win in the Reds here with another one this year, but certainly belongs in the conversation. And then Aquaphobia in the 3rd spot for Mike Maker, Irad Ortiz on board. Well beaten by Red Knight last time in the Sycamore. The horse is better than that. The race 3 back the United Nations is a little more what I'm keying on and hoping for as a performance this afternoon. And if we get that, Aquaphobia is right in the mix. North Dakota is an interesting horse, as maybe a long shot consideration. Goes out for show, a bit of a closing kick. Again, there's going to be, but you look at what the horse did 2 starts back at Colonial against a fairly slow pace, and North Dakota at what I would expect 10 to 1 on the morning line. I think we'll get a little bit of a price. That one might be worth looking at, to play around with for at Aqueduct. The Red Smith 10, 4, 9, and 5.
All right, let's close it down in the 10th on the outer maiden claimer State Breds, 40,000.
10, the number 8 is Michael's Bad Boy. A good try last time for Safi Joseph. Irad Ortiz was on board that day. on board again today. So I think Michael's bad boy is logical. Bricko in the second spot for Jim Bond. First 4 starts of the career, a third and 3 close-up finishes, then returned to Belmont from Saratoga and ran a little bit of a 4th place finish last time as the favorite. He's been the beaten favorite 3 times, so a little bit camera shy, but absolutely belongs in the conversation. I mean, you can't leave him out as a player in here, a potential winner. Certainly, at some point, he'll find the field he can break through with. And then Bile, 3rd spot. Off the turf for last time, ran okay. The turf start 2 back was kind of disappointing, but 3 back was pretty good. And I think overall, if you look at the record of Bielefeld and you compare to the rest of this bunch, belongs in here. Spiritual King, the number 10 horse coming out of the race last time at Monmouth, another one of those I think is going to be a nice fit with this as well. But for me, 10th and final at Aqueduct, 8, 6, 2, and 10. That'll wrap our thoughts on Churchill and Aqueduct. Don't forget, you can always go to capitalotb.com, click on the handicapper support link, and find a nice printable sheet with the selections on. I will remind you that a little bit later today, I will be out in the front half of the race book with a OTB Live bankroll, $300 to play on behalf of 20 patrons. You can come in, put your name in the hat between 11 and 2. We'll select 20 folks. I'll start playing at about 1 o'clock, trying to juice up the bankroll. And at the end of the day, the 20 folks split up the proceeds. So hopefully we can knock it out of the park with an OTB bankroll Saturday afternoon at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue. Brian, as always, appreciate the visit, the thoughts, and we'll talk again next week.
Sounds good. Thanksgiving to everybody. We'll catch up after. Best of luck this weekend to you and everybody else.
Very good. Brian Nadeau, Seth for the Handicappers Board. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.